What we do here is go back.
Facebook? Have you thought about the privacy you put at risk? Facebook allows users to post their favorite music, books, movies, their address, hometown, phone number, email, clubs, jobs, educational history, birth dates, sexual orientation, interests, daily schedules, exactly how they are related to friends, upload pictures of themselves, and even political affiliations. Its privacy policy even goes so far as to state it also collects information about you from other sources, such as newspapers and instant messaging services. This information is gathered regardless of your use of the website. Think that's scary? Facebook's term of service states, by posting member content to any part of the website, you automatically grant, and you represent and warrant that you have the right to grant to Facebook an irrevocable, perpetual, non-exclusive, transferable, fully paid, worldwide license with the right to sub-license to use, copy, form, display, reformat, translate, excerpt, in whole or in part, and distribute such information and content, and to prepare derivative works of, or incorporate into other works such information and content, and to grant and authorize sub-licenses of the foregoing. Have you seen the Facebook's Pulse feature? Pulse provides statistical trends among universities down to minute details such as percentages of females with conservative views, the student body's top 10 movies, and percentage of students who have read Catcher in the Rye. The so-called privacy policy goes on to say that they may share your information with third parties, including responsible companies with which they have a relationship. Can you think of any marketing group who would pass up buying such valid yet easily collected statistics such as these and others? So maybe they're using us. But is there more? The first venture capital money totaled at $500,000 came to the Facebook from venture capitalist Peter Thiel, founder and former CEO of PayPal. He also serves on the board of radical conservative group Vanguard PAC. Further funding came in the form of $12.7 million from venture capital firm Excel Partners. Excel's manager, James Breyer, was former chair of the National Venture Capital Association. Breyer served on National Venture Capital Association's board with Gilman Louie, CEO of In-Q-Tel, a venture capital firm established by the Central Intelligence Agency in 1999. This firm works in various aspects of information technology and intelligence, including most notably nurturing data mining technologies. Breyer has also served on the board of BBN Technologies, a research and development firm known for spearheading the ARPANET, or what we know today as the Internet. In October of 2004, Dr. Anita Jones climbed on board BBN along with Gilman Louie. But what is most interesting is Dr. Jones' experience prior to joining BBN. Jones herself served on the board of directors for In-Q-Tel and was previously the Director of Defense Research and Engineering for the U.S. Department of Defense. Her responsibilities included serving as an advisor to the Secretary of Defense and overseeing the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. This goes farther than just the initial appearances. DARPA shot to national fame in 2002 when knowledge of the existence of the Information Awareness Office came to light. The IAO stated its mission was to gather as much information as possible about everyone. in a centralized location for easy perusal by the United States government. Its mission was to gather as much information as possible about everyone in a centralized location for easy perusal by the United States government, including though not limited to internet activity, credit card purchase history, airline ticket purchases, car rentals, medical records, educational transcripts, driver's licenses, utility bills, tax returns, and any other available data. All of the above raises more questions than answers. Perhaps if the Facebook wishes to stay ethically sane, it should enact the policy. What happens in the Facebook stays in the Facebook.
Alright everyone, this is an additional video that has to deal with the invisible super hidden files that I found when I was defragging my drive. This is the URL to it. Use your documents settings and whatever your username is, local settings, temporary internet files, and then this you have to type in content.ie5, and it's a capital C, capital I, and E. And when you get to that folder, you're going to find that, which is hidden, you're going to find all these little subfolders in there. Well, within one of the subfolders, which is this one, I found a file that really is a concern. But then I view the source, and as I'm looking at the source, I start scrolling down. I'm going, wow, this is a little more than just a logon screen. And I get down here to the bottom, and here are my freaking emails. I mean, the emails, my emails, and we're not talking like just the inbox, we're talking everything. I mean, I got my credit card stuff in here. I mean, I cannot believe that this thing is logging all my emails. I mean, you want to talk about a security problem. Unbelievable. So they don't even need your password or username to get into your email account when the whole thing just sniffs and logs everything in this text. My Google Mail, I cannot believe this. My Gmail account. Unbelievable.
Now, I want to show you an example here of how the rich, and in this case, multinational corporations, actually rig the rules in their favor. They're the ones that are making sure that they don't pay taxes, and that they set up an unjust system, which invariably, of course, based on this, leads to income inequality and many other problems because we don't have a tax base. So, some of the companies, and there's a long list of companies that take advantage of these, but just some of them are in the tech world: Apple, Google, Amazon, Adobe, Microsoft, and the list goes on. For example, in 2009, you know what the tax rate that Google paid was? 2.4%. Now I ask you, did you pay 2.4%? I paid a hell of a lot more. My guess is you paid a lot more. If all you did was pay your sales tax, you paid a hell of a lot more than 2.4% of your income. No, you see, the rules are rigged in their favor, not against them, okay? Google, again, to use them as an example, in 2012 moved $11.91 billion through Bermuda alone. Now, is it because they're doing all that business in Bermuda? No, they're doing almost no business in Bermuda. It's because it's a tax haven, it's a loophole. So, you understand how that works? The most important part of Google's business, they say, oh, we don't own it here in California. No. That's the subsidiary we got in Bermuda that does business through Ireland. No. Oh, what's the tax rate in Bermuda? Will you look at that coincidence? It's 0%. We're letting him get away with this? That's insane. Of course, the reason we let him get away with it is because all of our politicians are bought off by all of these corporations. The gall on these guys, man. Of course I'm going to tax you where you do business. That's the point of taxes. If you do business in California, you get taxed in California, not in Bermuda where there's conveniently 0% taxes. See, this is how the rules are rigged. This is how we get income inequality. This is how we get injustice. And our politicians are perfectly aware of this. The problem is the system. If you allow politicians to take money from these corporations, who will they serve? Of course they're going to serve those corporations. And this is exactly how they do it.
Congress today reauthorized funding for Facebook, the massive online surveillance program run by the CIA. According to Department of Homeland Security reports, Facebook has replaced almost every other CIA information gathering program since it was launched in 2004.
After years of secretly monitoring the public, we were astounded so many people would willingly publicize where they live, their religious and political views, an alphabetized list of all their friends' personal email addresses, phone numbers, hundreds of photos of themselves, and even status updates about what they were doing moment to moment. It is truly a dream come true for the CIA.
Much of the credit belongs to CIA agent Mark Zuckerberg, who runs the day-to-day Facebook operation for the agency. The decorated agent, codenamed the Overlord, was recently awarded the prestigious Medal of Intelligence Commendation for his work with the Facebook program, which he has called, quote, the single most powerful tool for population control ever created. Among the biggest successes of the Facebook program is Operation Farmville, which the CIA credits with pacifying as many as 85 million people after unemployment rates rose dramatically. Other features, such as the suggested friends window, have been instrumental in allowing government agents to infiltrate deeper into the friend networks of suspected dissidents. For some expert analysis now on the story, let's check in with the Fact Zone's first responders. Jason, you have written extensively about the Facebook program. Why is it so effective?
Well, one of the key reasons is that the CIA has been so thorough in convincing the nation that constantly sharing information about everything that you're doing is somehow desirable instead of deeply unsettling.
You know, the critics are saying that with the national debt being so high, is this really the time to be spending even more money on spy programs?
Well, actually, the Facebook program saves the CIA money.
That's right.
Like the Maps application, where you list every place that you've been, whether it's the state or a country. Or
Oh, right, with the little pins they show where you visited. Yeah,
yes,
I like that.
that kind of information would have taken the CIA months of going through hotel receipts and plane tickets to figure it all out. The manpower that Facebook saves is huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the calendar feature even lets the CIA know where you're going to be in advance. So that's
Right. So now if they want to pick you up for questioning, all they have to do is see which events you RSVP'd yes to and then send their agents to be waiting for you.
That's how they got my brother.
Yeah,
right.
so effective. But guys, with all the focus on the Facebook program, is it taking away from some of the other CIA programs like the Twitter initiative?
Oh, yeah, the funding for that should be cut entirely.
Right, 400 billion tweets and not one useful bit of data was ever transmitted.
Oh, that's true. Now, is this trend of social network information gathering dangerous? I mean, just last week, the New York Times revealed that Al-Qaeda has designed Foursquare to identify popular locations for bombing.
Actually, Brooke, that's been discredited as any kind of real threat. The people that use that site are people that no one would mind seeing bombed anyway.
Yeah,
So.
I
really,
know that.
the only
Okay.
thing the CIA has to be concerned about is people losing interest in Facebook and moving on to a new social network site, like the Chinese site Wanbi.
I love
Are you guys on Wanbi?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so much more fun than Facebook.
It is great.
I love that one.
I love that you can earn friend points the more state secrets that you post. You know, I've got a lot of contacts in the State Department. You know, I think I could really rack them
You
up.
should post them up.
I should.
All right, first responders, thank you so much as always. You know, I'm, of course, a big fan of any social networking site. It allows me to interact with my fans without having to see, hear, or smell them.
Good stuff.
Sarah has a nice little Windows tip for us today.
I do. As you know, Windows users cherish our privacy, right? We love to erase our history, cookies, temporary internet files so others don't know what we've been up to. However, I have some bad news. All that information is alive and well in your index.dat files. Who knew? You definitely have them, but depending on your version of Windows, they can be in a variety of hidden and hard to find places. But they're really important, so you should know how to delete them. First, let's just go in. Of course, we all know the easy way to delete cookies or temporary internet files, stuff like that, is in our internet options. You've got delete cookies, files, clearing history, all that good stuff, right? I've already gone and deleted my cookies, and I'm just going to open up Windows Explorer here, and when I go into my cookies folder, it's all clear, right? Except for a little file called index.dat. For some reason, it's thinking that it's a Windows Media file, but it's not. It's a .dat file. Now, when I open it up, it doesn't look like much at first sight, but when I scroll down here into all the gobbledygook, I'm starting to notice things. Cookie, Tech TV at Verizon Wireless, at Softpedia. Wait a second, there's information in here. People can know where I've been. Web Trends Live. Now you can see these are all cookies. Here's history, temporary internet files down at the bottom. That sucks. That sucks if you don't want people to know where you've been. Index.dat files are impossible to erase while you're in Windows.
So when I was growing up in a really rural area in Maine, you know, the internet meant something very different to me. It meant a connection to the world. It meant something that would connect us all together. And I was sure that it was going to be great for democracy and for our society. But there's this kind of shift in how information is flowing online. And it's invisible. And if we don't pay attention to it, it could be a real problem. So I first noticed this in a place I spend a lot of time, my Facebook page. I'm progressive politically, big surprise, but I've always gone out of my way to meet conservatives. I like hearing what they're thinking about. I like seeing what they link to. I like learning a thing or two. And so I was kind of surprised when I noticed one day that the conservatives had disappeared from my Facebook feed. And what it turned out was going on was that Facebook was looking at which links I clicked on. And it was noticing that actually I was clicking more on my liberal friends' links than on my conservative friends' links. And without consulting me about it, it had edited them out. They disappeared. So Facebook isn't the only place that's doing this kind of invisible algorithmic editing of the web. Google's doing it too. If I search for something and you search for something, even right now at the very same time, we may get very different search results. Even if you're logged out, one engineer told me, there are 57 signals that Google looks at. Everything from what kind of computer you're on, to what kind of browser you're using, to where you're located, that it uses to personally tailor your query results. Think about it for a second. There is no standard Google anymore. And the funny thing about this is that it's hard to see. You can't see how different your search results are from anyone else's. But a couple of weeks ago, I asked a bunch of friends to Google Egypt and to send me screenshots of what they got. So here's my friend Scott's screenshot, and here's my friend Daniel's screenshot. When you put them side by side, you don't even have to read the links to see how different these two pages are. But when you do read the links, it's really quite remarkable. Daniel didn't get anything about the protests in Egypt at all in his first page of Google results. Scott's results were full of them. And this was the big story of the day at that time. That's how different these results are becoming. So it's not just Google and Facebook either. This is something that's sweeping the web. There are a whole host of companies that are doing this kind of personalization. Yahoo News, the biggest news site on the internet, is now personalized. Different people get different things. Huffington Post, the Washington Post, New York Times, all flirting with personalization in various ways. And where this moves us very quickly toward a world in which the internet is showing us what it thinks we want to see, but not necessarily what we need to see. As Eric Schmidt said, it'll be very hard for people to watch or consume something that has not, in some sense, been tailored for them. So I do think this is a problem. And I think if you take all of these filters together, if you take all of these algorithms, you get what I call a filter bubble. And your filter bubble is kind of your own personal, unique universe of information that you live in online. And what's in your filter bubble depends on who you are, and it depends on what you do. But the thing is that you don't decide what gets in. And more importantly, you don't actually see what gets edited out. So one of the problems with the filter bubble was discovered by some researchers at Netflix. And they were looking at the Netflix queues, and they noticed something kind of funny that a lot of us probably have noticed, which is there are some movies that just sort of zip right up and out to our houses. They enter the queue, they just zip right out. So Iron Man zips right out, right? And Waiting for Superman can wait for a really long time. What they discovered was that in our Netflix queues, there's kind of this epic struggle going on between our future aspirational selves and our more impulsive present selves. We all want to be someone who has watched Rashomon. But right now, we want to watch Ace Ventura for the 4th time. So the best editing gives us a bit of both. It gives us a little bit of Justin Bieber and a little bit of Afghanistan. It gives us some information vegetables. It gives us some information dessert. And the challenge with these kind of algorithmic filters, these personalized filters, is that because they're mainly looking at what you click on first, it can throw off that balance. And instead of a balanced information diet, you can end up surrounded by information junk food.
So maybe they're using us. But is there more?
Scrolling down, I'm going, wow, this is a little more than just a logon screen. And I get down here to the bottom, and here are my freaking emails. I mean, the emails, my emails, and we're not talking like just the inbox, we're talking everything. I mean, I got my credit card stuff in here. I mean, I cannot believe that this thing is logging all my emails.
Further funding came in the form of $12.7 million from venture capital firm Excel Partners. Excel's manager, James Breyer, was former chair of the National Venture Capital Association. Breyer served on National Venture Capital Association's board with Gilman Louie, CEO of In-Q-Tel, a venture capital firm established by the Central Intelligence Agency in 1999.
Well, one of the key reasons is that the CIA has been so thorough in convincing the nation that constantly sharing information about everything that you're doing is somehow desirable instead of deeply unsettling.
You know what the tax rate that Google paid was 2.4%.
The IAO stated its mission was to gather as much information as possible about everyone in a centralized location for easy perusal by the United States government.
Now I ask you, did you pay 2.4%? I paid a hell of a lot more. My guess is you paid a lot more. If all you did was pay your sales tax, you paid a hell of a lot more than 2.4% of your income. No, you see, the rules are rigged in their favor, not against them.